Well, welcome everyone to Movement Yoga Flow. My name is Mark Cormier. I'll be practicing with Kathy Cormier today. Anything you all would like to see in terms of a shape or part of the body to focus on, please put it in the chat. I'm marching into the frame here. And it is a tad bright, so let's... bit of a view. All right. Well, beautiful morning here in San Francisco. Welcome to yoga. You ready to go?
I'm ready.
All right. Well, come on up. So we got a 35-minute practice today, so a little bit longer than last week. Not too much though. And how are you today, Kathy?
I'm good, thank you. I
Okay,
slept
so
a lot.
we have no mat. Are you okay with no mat?
Excuse me, I am okay with no mat.
It's one of the secrets of our home yoga practice. I usually just practice on the rug. Bare wood is nice.
I love it.
Having said that, you could always grab the mat.
Yep, I'm good. I'm just.
All right. I think everything's straightened up. That's one of the dangers of a home yoga practice, though, is that you get distracted.
It's not distraction.
So it's nice to have a sacred space that.
I'm making this space sacred.
There you go. All right. So let's bring hands on hips. Now let's just march it side to side. And from a march side to side, grounded down through both feet as we rock it side to side. And now equal weight in both feet as you find your center. Now rocking it front to back as we lift our heels, lift our toes. Notice how this connects you to your center of balance, 3 fingers below the navel. And then grounded through the toes, grounded through the heels as we rock it front to back. And then finding your center. At this point, either keeping your feet just as they are or challenging your balance. As you narrow your stance, you could always change this throughout our practice. From our feet, finding our legs. From our legs, finding our spine. Relaxed shoulders, long feet, all sides of the neck. Tall to the ground. With a soft tuck of the chin, I'll allow you to bring hands to the heart. A light press of your thumb against your sternum as you line up each finger. Keeping those shoulders relaxed. Starting our practice this morning, watching as our breath flows in. And watching as our breath flows out. From a place of just watching your breath, I'll invite you to shape your breath as you find a long, smooth breath in. Followed by an equally long, smooth breath out. As you breathe in, I'll invite you to bring the air to the top of your chest, the base of your belly, filling up each side waist, filling up both front and back planes of your body. As you breathe out, I'll invite you to engage your core as you draw the low belly in and up, concurrently lifting the kidneys in and up, squeezing a little more air out. Most importantly, providing structural support with that core engagement on the exhalation for your low back as you move through these shapes and sequences. Now finding the Ujjayi breath, the go-to breath in many flow practices, slightly constricting the base of your throat, adding a slight sound and feel to your breath. As we flow through our practice this morning, letting the sound and feel of your Ujjayi breath be a focus for your practice, often compared to the sounds of the ocean as the waves wash in and out. 2 more details before we start to attach breath to movement. Tip of your tongue to the hard palate just behind your teeth. Keeping that tongue to hard palate connection throughout the practice. Keeping our jaws relaxed and connecting front and back planes of our bodies. And finally, with your lips closed, adding a slight smile to your face. A Mona Lisa smile opening up the front of your throat so your breath has lots of room to circulate, refresh, and revitalize. Lifting the chin tall through the crown, I'll invite you to roll your hands over as you bring your hands by your side. Sun Salutation A will take it in 3 pieces. arms and shoulders. Inhaling, arms out to the side and then overhead. Exhaling, arms back down. 2 more times like this, observing the natural rhythm of the shoulders. As the arms elevate, the shoulders elevate. As the arms descend, the shoulders descend. 1 more to go here. Breathing in, lifting up. Exhaling down. I'll ask you to go sideways, Kathy, for the second part of the 3-3-3. Half sun salutation. Inhaling, arms out to the side and then overhead. On the exhale, finding a forward fold. Take a breath to create length. Hands could cap the knees. You could always grab a brick. On the exhale, folding again. Either lowering the brick or catching the back of the shins. Inhaling, finding a neutral spine, back of the head in line with the sacrum. Arms out to the side and then overhead. Exhaling, standing tall. 2 more like that. Breathing in, lifting up. Exhaling, leading with the heart as you fold. Take a breath to create length as we lift chin and tail, arcing the back. Exhaling, arching the spine, strong tuck at the chin as we fold again. Inhaling, arms out to the side and then overhead. Exhaling, standing tall. 1 more half sun style. Inhaling up. On the exhale, leading with the heart as you fold. Take a breath to create length. Keeping that length as we fold again. Inhaling, riding the breath up, arms out to the side and then overhead. Exhaling, standing tall. Putting it all together with a third part of the 3-3-3. Awesome morning routine we can do every day. Inhaling, arms out to the side and then overhead. On the exhale, finding your forward fold. Take a breath to create length. And then on the exhale, folding again, I will knock you vinyasa. As you ground down through the hands, stepping 1 foot back and then the other, finding your down dog. As we hold this first down dog of this practice, I'll invite you to walk your dog as you bend 1 leg deeper than the other, grounding down to the opposite heel, and then freely moving back and forth between the sides, seeing how everything feels this morning. What feels tight? What feels right? What feels somewhere in between? As we hold the shape, I'll invite you to put your mind in the base of your throat. From that place, listening and feeling as your breath flows in and out. From a place of movement, moving back towards stillness. Long arms, long legs, long spine, deep, full breath. Long, smooth breath in. Equally long, smooth breath out. Tail end of that breath, bending your knees ever so slightly as you lift the tailbone just a little bit higher, finding just a little more space in your low back, and then looking between the hands as you mindfully make your way to the front of your mat. Take a breath to create length when you arrive. Hands could cap the knees. Again, you could always use a grip as we lift chin and tail. Exhaling, rounding the spine as we fold again. Strong tuck of the chin. Feel the stretch. Inhaling, arms out to the side and then overhead. Urdhva Hastasana, hands over head pose. Exhaling, standing tall. Number 2, exactly the same. This time I'll invite you to cycle through vinyasa. Inhaling, arms out to the side and then overhead. On the exhale, finding the forward fold. Take a breath to arc the back. And now arching the spine, strong tuck of the chin, straight off the back. As you cycle through a push-up, feel free to use those knees. Actually, I'll ask you to use the knees on this first one, Kat. So use your knees for the push-up, yeah. Yoga style, elbow shave rib. Inhaling into your cobra, the hips stay down as you lift head and heart. And now feel free to use those knees as you push back to all fours, tucking the toes. And then lifting the hips high as you find your down dog. And that's an awesome modification for the, just to make it a little easier. Why not? Good morning. My stress. Why push yourself too hard, at least as you start to warm up. Again, either holding this down dog just as it is, or walking your dog, bending 1 leg, bending the other. Yeah, Kathy's even lifting a foot, lifting the other. Whatever feels right and good for you. Starting to connect with your own good sense of where you need to be in space. How your body needs to work, what needs to stretch, what needs to be still. And then from a place of movement, moving back towards that stillness. Despite the lack of overt movement, still breathing, your heart's still beating, your mind's still moving. And both focusing on that ujjayi breath as it flows in and out. Finding a little more space between each breath, each beat of the heart, each stop. And breathing into that space. Long, smooth breath in. Equally long, smooth breath out. Tail into that breath, bending the knees ever so slightly as you lift the tailbone just a little bit higher. And then looking between the hands as you step or take a jump from it. Take a breath to create length in your line. Keeping that length as you fold again. Inhaling, Urdhva Hastasana, hands over head pose, arms out to the side and then overhead. Exhaling, standing tall. Number 3 of the 3-3-3. Inhaling, arms out to the side and then overhead. On the exhale, finding your forward fold. Take a breath to arc the back. And then arching the spine, strong tuck of the chin as you ground down through the hands. And I'll invite you to cycle through vinyasa if you want to do the stronger or more challenging version. No knees for the push-up. Rolling over the toes as we find an up dog. The hips lift up off the floor. You can always ground those hips for a tap. And then not using the knees, rolling over the toes. Easier said than done as you draw it back to down dog. I'll add on one more time here. I'll invite you to inhale forward to plank pose. And holding the plank for 5 or 6 long, slow breaths. Feeling that connection between head, hips, and heels. Connecting with a line of strength running through the center of yourself. Shoulders super, super, super engaged. Despite the effort of the action, an easeful quality to your breath. Long, smooth breaths in. Long, smooth breaths out. Without sagging the low back, could you lower your hips just a little bit? Notice what that does to the shape. Long, smooth breath in. Equally long, smooth breath out. Tail end of that breath, navel to spine as you lift those hips high, drawing it back to down dog. And holding for another 2 or 3 breaths. Again, either holding it in stillness or adding movement. Let your body tell you what it wants. And most importantly, respecting what your body says. Long, smooth breath in. Equally long, smooth breath out. Tail end of that breath, bending your knees ever so slightly as you lift the tailbone just a little bit higher. And then looking between the hands as you step or jump it. Take a breath to create length. Keeping that length as you fold. On the inhale, Urdhva Hastasana, hands over head pose. Exhaling, standing tall. I'll ask you to face camera carefully as you bring hands to heart. This time, adding an isometric engagement. Pressing those hands together, elbows wide to the side, shoulders engaged. A tuck of the tail, a tuck of the chin. And then lifting the chin tall through the crown as we roll our hands over. Hands by our side. So I'm looking at my watch here. That took about 11 minutes. We can do that every single morning, just like brushing your teeth. Having said that, we've got a little longer practice on the program today. So let's work through a standing sequence. Again, I'll ask you to go sideways. So we'll do the traditional second warm-up exercise, Sun Sal B. We'll do it flow style. There's an extra breath in the opening sequence. Inhaling into tall spine, arms out to the side and then overhead. Keeping tall spine, finding your chair. Inhale and hold. Exhale, go lower. Inhale, rising on up, a little back bend at the top, open heart, open throat. And then leading with the heart, a big swan dive over. Take a breath to arc the back. And then arching the spine, strong tuck of the chin as you make your way back to down dog, as you will. So yeah, you could use the knees for the push-up, you could not use the knees. You could ground the hips, you could not ground the hips. Finding a way to move through space with grace that works for your body this morning. I'll cue it from down dog. I'll give everybody at home another breath just to get there. From down dog, flow style. Feet together. Right leg high for the three-legged dog. High on the left toes as you stretch out Achilles tendon and calf. I'll have you point that right foot. Yeah, there you go. Without pitching the hip up. From here, looking between the hands. Now you're going to pitch that leg a little higher without cocking the hip. And then flexing the foot as you draw the foot through, landing it lightly. If you need to take an extra step, no big deal. Hands can find the hips as you find your balance. And then arms out to the side. And then overhead as you find your warrior one. From warrior one, spinning the palms out, coming all the way back down, spinning that back heel up when the hands arrive. You got to take your time. And then back to down dog as you will. We'll add on to the traditional warm-up sequence a little bit here as you come back to plank pose. Feeling that connection between head, hips, and heels. How's your energy level? You want to make it harder? You don't? Okay. Then we're going to stay right here. Shoulders super, super, super engaged. Since you didn't take the hard choice, I'll give you another choice to make it a little bit harder.
It's already hard.
See what happens when those hips go just a little bit lower without sagging back. Nice. This is a great pose to develop strength. We're not moving any limbs, so there's less risk to repetitive tear and wear. Long, smooth breath in. Long, smooth breath out. Tail into that breath, navel to spine, as you lift your hips high, back to down dog. You ready for the second side? Okay. Feet together, left leg high. We're going to point those toes. High on the right toes. Feel that stretch in Achilles tendon and calf. Now looking between the hands, keeping the hip just as it is, so it's not a big move. You want to point those toes. Yeah. You're going to pitch the hip just a little higher. It's a glute engagement. And then flexing the foot. As you bring that foot through, landing it lightly, spinning the back heel down. Hands can find the hips or not as you find your balance. And then arms out to the side, and then overhead for your warrior one. Now from here, take your time. We're going to move back to low lunge, but make sure you ground down through both hands before you spin the back heel out. So spinning the heels out, hands out. You're going to take the forward fold to ground down through both hands. Once you have that foundation, you can spin the heel up. There you go. And then back to down dog, as you will. Either cycling through vinyasa, stretching straight back, or making another choice instead. Up to you. Flow with grace through space, finding your movement, connecting with your body. As we hold down dog, I'll invite you to bring your attention to the back plane of your body, using your breath to connect with a part of your body not easily seen. Long, smooth breath in. Equally long, smooth breath out. Tail end of that breath, bending your knees ever so slightly as you lift the tailbone just a little bit higher. And then looking between the hands as you step or jump at front. Take a breath to create length in your eye. Keeping that length as we fold again. On the inhale, stay low, neutral spine in chair pose, knees over toes. Exhaling, taking it lower. On the inhale, rising on up, finding a back bend at the top. On the exhale, neutral spine, hands by your side. I'll ask you to bring hands to heart. This time, adding that isometric engagement, but separating the palms, keep pressing the tips of 10 fingers together. Notice how this changes the stretch. You go wide with those elbows. Chicken wings, there you go. Awesome. Really feel that tricep engagement. And a soft tuck of the chin, soft tuck of the tail. Feel the strength of your center, connecting with that low belly. Your agni, your digestive fire. Lifting the chin tall through the crown. I'll invite you to roll your hands over as you bring your hands by your side. Sun Sal Si. Inhaling into tall spine. Exhaling, finding your chair. Inhale, hold it. Exhale, go lower. More strength in your legs. Inhale, rising on up. Open heart, open throat. Revel in the stretch. And then a big swan dive over. Take a breath to arc the back. Now arching the spine as you fold again, strong tuck of the chin, back to down dog as you will. And if you're starting to get sick of the push-ups, feel free to skip the push-ups. Up to you. And of course, it's not a long practice here, so if you do push yourself, you'll be done soon enough. Shoulder blades back and down, beautiful. So let's add a hip opener to our three-legged dog. Feet together, right leg high. High on the left toes. Now keeping that right shoulder just as it is, lifted leg straight as you stack the hips. Now bending that lifted leg, opening up that leg with the weight of the bent leg. You can point those toes. You can't keep the toes pointed. And from here, we're going to flex the foot. We're going to bring the foot through, landing it lightly as we find our warrior one. Spinning that back heel down, arms out to the side, and then overhead. Take your time. You can always bring hands to hips. In our warrior one, let's bring hands back to the hips. Either keeping your stance just as it is, front knee over the heel and in line with the toes. Some will shorten, some will lengthen. How's your stance feel? About the right place? Okay, stay right there then. With your hands on our hips, steering hips front hip back hip front, so the other way. Yeah, that hip goes that way, that hip goes that way. Right? You want to feel the stretch in your back, low back. From here, hands find the shoulders, or thumbs find the shoulders, elbows wide to the side, again with our chicken wings. And we're going to circle one shoulder, and then the other, start small. And then let it get bigger. And faster if you like. Keep it mindful. We're not whipping, well maybe we are whipping cream here. Whipping heavy cream to turn it into, what's it turn into? Frosting. From a bigger circle, we'll start to take it in. Once you find your center, starting small, taking those circles the other way. And then letting it get bigger. I guess we're making it. Use heavy cream, you turn it into whipped cream.
That's it.
Yeah. It's always a magical process, I think.
It is.
From a bigger circle, we'll start to circle it in, back towards center. And then back to center, heading those shoulders onto your ribs. Just relax those shoulders. As you find a clasp with the fingers behind the back of the head. Pressing the head hard into the hands, open heart, open throat, elbows wide to the side, getting into that space. From here, I'll invite you to stretch hands back up, high to the sky. From here, straightening the front leg without locking the knees, we gather up the energy. The palms can face back there. Now it's like we're gathering energy. Exhaling, offering it out. So you spin the palms out. So like your TV antenna. So you just keep going like that. Say 6 to 8 times with your breath, breathing in, breathing out as you offer that energy out. You can do it fast. You can do it slow. Maybe let your breath lead the way. Another couple times here. And then your next repetition, I'll invite you to hold that warrior one with cactus arms. The elbows move back any amount, the hands come with. I'll invite you to ripple your fingers as you keep your hands supple. Now hands find the hips. We're going to steer warrior one hips into warrior two hips as we steer the hips sideways. You could kick that back foot in for a narrower stance. Having said that, if that feels too narrow, feel free to keep the foot just where it is. And then finding one long arm, looking out past those front fingers with a mixture of effort and ease. I'll invite you to set an intention for your practice, looking towards that intention. It could be as simple as be here now. From here, I'll invite you to find a humble warrior, a clasp of the fingers behind the back. Would you like a strap or a towel, Kathy? You good? Okay. Shoulder blades back and down, open heart, open throat. Mindful of your balance, so really connect with your feet as you choose that forward fold inside the front leg. Different ways to do it. We could park the torso on top of the thigh, relaxing the neck and heavy in the head. Try to get some clearance with the hands up. You can, yeah.
I'm just put from here.
Okay, fair enough. The other way to do it, you could let the torso hang free. Wherever you choose to work, I'll invite you to add some swing, some sway, inviting any tension in your mind and body, and particularly in your neck and shoulders, to drain down into the earth. Plenty of room in the earth for that tension. We don't need it in our bodies. Like a lightning rod. In the humble warrior, I'll suggest a strong tuck of the chin. Really tuck that chin. Feel the stretch in the back of your neck. Jalandhara Bandha, the chin lock, as we bring it on up. Coming back to our warrior two. One long arm. Looking out past those front fingers with that steady yet relaxed gaze. From here, I'll suggest a big windmill of the arms as we stretch out our shoulders, different ways to windmill. Grounded down through two hands once you have that foundation, spinning the back heel up as you find your low lunge. And then, of course, back to down dog as you will, either stretching straight back, cycling through vinyasa, or making another choice instead. You can always find a child's pose. Again, always listening to your body and respecting what your body has to say. Pushing yourself, but not pushing yourself so much that your body starts to get tense and anxious. Much like our bodies are ourselves, but sometimes there's a separation. Sometimes at work, someone starts to push you, a patron, a customer, a boss, a coworker, we start to retreat into our shells, and you don't want to do that in our yoga practice. You ready for second side?
Sure.
All right. Do you want to do a plank first?
Sure.
You do? All right.
Not really, but
Not really? Then don't do it. All right, here we go. Feet together, left leg high, high on the right toes. You want to point those toes? Yeah. Keeping that left shoulder just as it is, stacking the hips, left on top of right. Keeping that left shoulder just as it is, you're going to bend the leg, keep the toe pointed, yeah. Using the weight of the leg to open up the hip. Now flexing the foot as you sweep the foot through, finding your warrior one, letting that foot lightly, spinning the back heel down, arms out to the side, and then overhead for your warrior one. And you can always bring hands to hips. Let's bring hands back to the hips as we think about our stance. Either keeping it here, some will shorten, some will lengthen. Kathy tends to land a good stance straight off the bat, so she'll probably stay
big hips.
right where she is, yeah. And all of our bodies work differently, and we all have benefits. Yes. So with our hands on our hips, we're going to steer those hips front. So the back hips, yes, is the other. It's not the warrior two hips. This hip comes forward, that hip goes back. You're not going to get there, but you want to feel the stretch in your low back. You feel that? A little bit. It's a subtle stretch. Now bringing thumbs onto the shoulders, elbows wide to the side, chicken wings. I know that's not a pretty name. Maybe we can think about a prettier name here. And we're
Chicken wings are pretty.
Chicken wings, okay. They're tasty, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we'll start to circle
Chickens.
one. Keep it small, keep it slow. Feel it, really feel the movement. And then once you've established the movement, you can go bigger, maybe you can go faster.
It might not look like I'm feeling it, but I'm definitely feeling it.
Okay, I didn't want to say you weren't feeling it, but just I'm just trying to get people to move a little slower, at least at first. Not just jumping right into the big movement. From a bigger place, starting to dial it in, finding your center, keep those elbows nice and wide. And then once you find your center, starting small, at least for one or two, and then letting it get bigger and faster if that's what your body wants.
I think what I mean is, like, someone might be feeling like it's small while the observer sees it as large.
Okay. Yeah.
Like, to me, this is really big.
Yeah. From a bigger movement, starting to dial it in. Yeah, it's hard, because I'm cueing you and I'm not inside your body, so I'm trying to give you the benefit of my eyes. Having said that, if my eyes are incorrect, of course, you do you. Whoa. Gusts of gravity. And then you're back at your center. Yeah, keep those elbows nice and wide. Yeah, feel the stretch. You want to keep the elbows wide as you walk the fingers one over. And pressing your head into your hands. So the heart, open throat, elbows wide to the side. Just feel that. And that's something you can do any place, any time. You're sitting at a desk, you're in a supermarket. And then keeping that space as we stretch our hands high. From here, pulling silk threads. We don't want to break the thread. As you straighten the front leg without locking the knee, the palms face back. It's like we're harvesting. And then the hands spin out. Yeah, so a little wrist work here. Breathing in. Gathering it up, offering it out. Say 6 to 8 times. I'll let you move with your breath. And that's the other thing about teaching yoga. I give a lot of breath cues. But my cues could be faster than your breath. It could be slower than your breath. The beauty of a home practice when you're just with yourself is that you can totally be your own teacher and your own cure in terms of your speed, how you move. And it's one of the compromises we make in the teacher-student relationship. Another couple. And after your next one, I'll invite you to hold that shape. Warrior one legs with cactus arms. And it's a little slipperier without the mat, right?
No, I'm staying hot.
Getting hot. Let's open the window. And I'll invite you to ripple those fingers as you keep your hands separate. From here, let's bring hands back to the hips. We're going to steer warrior one hips into warrior two hips. As you steer the hips sideways, you might adjust your stance. Classically, it's heel to arch alignment. If that's too tippy, you feel free to work wider or shorter. From here, finding one long arm, looking out past those front fingers with a steady yet relaxed gaze. I'll invite you to reaffirm your intention, looking towards that intention. From here, finding the humble warrior, walking the fingers one over as you find that clasp of the fingers behind the back, initially opening up heart and throat. Keeping that initially leading with the heart as you take that fold inside the front leg, either parking the torso on top of the thigh as you relax the neck and head of the head, or letting your torso hang free, yogi stretch. As we hold wherever you've chosen to work the shape, adding some swing, adding some sway. And we didn't do this on the first side, but I'll invite you to come back to center, and on an exhale, go a little bit deeper. Strong tuck of the chin, stretching out your back and neck. Before you bring it on up, feel the stretch first. And now keeping that tuck as we bring it on up. Lifting the chin tall to the crown, back to our warrior two. From our warrior two, one last time today. Big windmill of the arms as we stretch out those shoulders. And either cycling through vinyasa, stretching straight back to down dog, or making another choice. From down dog, I'll invite you to land the knees lightly as we find a child's pose, finding the tips of 10 fingers, arms in extension, as you heavy the forehead through. And now letting those elbows relax. So keep the elbows lifted initially. Nice stretch in your shoulders. When I go back to rewind the tape. Yeah, feel that. You feel that. And now let the elbows relax. Yeah. As we hold the shape, finding your belly breath, a gentle rock from side to side. Now bringing hips center, keeping hips and heels just as they are. I'll invite you to find a side bend as you walk your hands to one side, stretching far hip to far hip. Could you walk those hands a little bit further to the side, feel a little more stretch in that far hip? Now walking the hands through center, finding that side bend the other way, stretching other hip to other heel. And once you've established the shape for a breath or two, could you walk those hands a little bit further, finding a little more stretch in that far hip. Now walking hands center, let's work a little shoulder work here as we find a triangle between two elbows and a press of the palms. And then bringing those palms towards the back of the head as you stretch the armpits forward and back. Keeping that isometric engagement, separating the palms, pressing the tips of 10 fingers. Notice how that changes the stretch. Bringing those hands forward. I'll invite you to ground down through the hands, walking the hands in as you bring your feet off to one side. Take your time. And let's do a long, slow roll down onto our backs. Starting from tall spine, long arms, long legs, Frankenstein arms. And then finding C-spine as you tuck tail and chin and start to roll it on down, laying each vertebrae down as if you're laying pearls onto a cushion. I know there's some objects overhead, but finding long spine, not too low, the low back lifts. Now stretching long spine left and then right. Like a cat getting ready to take a nap. Welcome, Porin. Welcome, Shelley. From here, I'll invite you to imprint your spine into the mat. As you draw one knee into the heart, the other knee follows. Keeping the knees closed in, using your thighs to massage your low belly as you gently lift and lower the low back and hips. Front to back, side to side, little circles. An awesome pose for digestion as we digest the foods of our practice. Keeping the neck relaxed, releasing with one hand to reach back, to use that hand to lift and tuck the chin. Keep the neck relaxed. Chin stays tucked, the hand comes back to the knee or the shin. I'll invite you to start to rock it front to back, back to front, massaging your spine. You catch the back of the thighs, whatever feels right and good for you. And then rocking them up. You find your cross-legged sit. I'll ask you to face the camera. From this place, hands on your knees, pulling back with the hands to settle the shoulders. Pressing into your sits bones to lift the kidneys in and up. Long through all sides of the neck with a soft tuck of the chin. I'll invite you to bring one hand onto the heart, the other hand on top. Ending our practice listening and feeling as our breath flows in and as our breath flows out. From this place of breath awareness, I invite you to bow as you thank yourself for practicing yoga. And as we offer our practice out to each other and to the world, the light within us honors and respects the light within you. And in this light, we are one. Namaste.
Namaste.
All right. Thank you at home for practicing with us. Thank you, Kathy, for practicing with me.
Thank you, everyone.
And namaste. Have a nice day.
Namaste. Have a nice day.